6 months after first contact, the galaxy looked completely different. The Iron Symphony had been joined by 5 more human vessels, each representing the latest advances in Terran Federation technology. But more importantly, they now carried mixed crews from across the galactic community. Admiral Hana stood on the bridge watching her new crew work together. Commander Yujin Seo coordinated with a Vorthak crystal, being whose energy sensing abilities enhanced their weapons targeting. Chief Engineer Ji-Hoon Yoon worked alongside Chimera, technicians whose understanding of structural engineering had improved their ship, modifications beyond anything humans could achieve alone. Status: report on the exploration fleet, Hana ordered. Captain Do-Hun Park consulted his displays, which now included alien technical interfaces that had been integrated with human systems. All 6 ships report ready for departure, Admiral. The joint crews have completed their training programs. Excellent. Any word from the Council? Council Speaker Vithara sends her regards and wishes us success on our first major exploration mission, Communications Officer Minji Lee reported. She also mentioned that several species have begun requesting human technical advisors for their own ship upgrades. Hana smiled. The partnership was working better than anyone had expected. Human technology provided the power and speed needed for deep space exploration, while alien expertise provided knowledge about galactic conditions and potential hazards that humans had never encountered. The changes weren't limited to exploration vessels. Across the galaxy, species that had been stagnant for centuries were suddenly innovating again. The Kelthani had developed new underwater cities using human material science. The Gorvani were building trade ships that could cross the galaxy in weeks instead of months. Even the peaceful Valdari were designing new telescope arrays that could observe distant galaxies. Admiral, Chief Science Officer Gunwoo Choi announced, long-range sensors are detecting the anomaly we've been tracking. It appears to be artificial in origin. The main screen displayed sensor readings from the edge of known space. Something massive was out there, bigger than anything the galaxy had seen before. Initial scans suggested it might be a structure rather than a ship, possibly left behind by some ancient civilization. How big? Hana asked. Preliminary estimates suggest it's at least 50 kilometers in diameter, Choi replied. The energy readings are unusual, unlike anything in our databases or the galactic archives. This was exactly the kind of discovery the Joint Exploration Initiative had been created to investigate. Unknown alien artifacts required both human technology to reach them safely and galactic wisdom to understand their significance. Signal the fleet, Hana ordered. We're moving to investigate. The 6 ships of the exploration fleet engaged their gravity drives simultaneously. Human engineering allowed them to travel at speeds that still amazed their alien crew members. What would have taken the old Galactic Council fleets months to reach, they could investigate in days. As they traveled, the mixed crews worked together in ways that surprised everyone. Chimera builders suggested structural modifications that made human ships stronger. Vorthak energy specialists helped optimize power distribution systems. Kelthani navigators provided insights into space currents that human sensors couldn't detect. But the most important contribution came from Elder Kethmos, who had requested assignment to the flagship despite his advanced age. The ancient Valdari spent his time in the ship's archives, comparing the energy readings from the mysterious object with historical records spanning thousands of years. Admiral, he announced during the 3rd day of travel, I believe I know what we're approaching. The senior staff gathered in the briefing room to hear his conclusions. The holographic display showed comparative energy signatures and historical data from across galactic civilization. These readings match legends from our oldest archives, Kethmos explained. Stories of the precursors, a civilization that supposedly existed before any of our current species achieved spaceflight. Supposedly? Ambassador Kang asked. Most scholars consider them myths, the elder admitted. But the energy signatures are too specific to be coincidental. I believe we're approaching a genuine precursor artifact. Security Chief Nam leaned forward with interest. What do the legends say about these precursors? That they achieved technology so advanced it appeared magical to younger species. They could manipulate space and time, create matter from energy, travel between dimensions. Then they vanished, leaving only scattered artifacts behind. Vanished how? Hana asked. The legends vary, Kethmos said. Some say they transcended physical existence. Others suggest they were destroyed by their own technology. A few claim they left this galaxy to explore other dimensions. The implications were staggering. If the precursors had existed and achieved such advanced technology, what might their artifacts contain? Knowledge that could advance galactic civilization by millennia? Weapons that could threaten entire star systems? Technologies that even humans couldn't understand? When they finally reached the edge of known space, the sight that greeted them defied description. The object wasn't a ship or a station, but something that seemed to exist in multiple dimensions simultaneously. It appeared solid from one angle but translucent from another. Its surface showed geometric patterns that hurt to look at directly, as if they existed in mathematical spaces the mind couldn't process. "My God," whispered Chief Science Officer Choi. "It's beautiful and terrifying at the same time." "All ships, maintain defensive positions," Hana ordered. "Begin detailed scans, but don't approach closer than 1 million kilometers." The combined sensor arrays of 6 advanced ships began analyzing the artifact. Human quantum sensors detected impossible energy patterns. Forthak crystal interfaces revealed harmonic frequencies that suggested the structure was actively communicating with something. Chimera structural analysis indicated the object was both ancient beyond measure and somehow still growing. "Admiral," Elder Kethmos reported with excitement in his ancient voice, "the artifact is responding to our presence. It's sending out what appears to be a greeting signal. Can we understand it?" "Not yet, but the mathematical structure suggests intelligence far beyond our current understanding. This could be the discovery of the millennium." As Admiral Hana looked at the impossible structure floating in space before them, she realized that humanity's arrival in galactic civilization had been just the beginning. The universe was far larger and stranger than any species had imagined. There were mysteries out there that would challenge even human ingenuity. But that was exactly what made it exciting. "Begin establishing communication protocols," she ordered, "and send a message back to the Council. Tell them we've found something that will change everything again." Behind her, the mixed crew of humans and aliens worked together to decode signals from a civilization that had vanished before any of their species had learned to use fire. The comfortable galaxy of the past was gone forever, replaced by infinite possibilities and endless mysteries. "Admiral," Communications Officer Minji Lee announced, "I'm getting response signals from the artifact. It's inviting us inside." Hana looked at her diverse crew. Humans who had brought advanced technology, aliens who had provided wisdom and experience. Together they had created something greater than either could achieve alone. "Well," she said with a smile, "we came out here to explore. Let's see what wonders the universe has in store for us." The 6 ships of the Joint Exploration Initiative moved toward the precursor artifact, carrying the hopes and dreams of an entire galaxy. Behind them, other fleets were already being prepared for even more ambitious missions. The age of comfortable stagnation was over. The age of infinite discovery had begun. In her personal log that night, Admiral Hana wrote, "Today we learned that the galaxy is not the quiet, settled place we thought it was. There are mysteries out here that make our greatest achievements look like children's toys. But that just means we have more growing to do. Humanity brought the spark of innovation back to galactic civilization. Now we'll see how bright that flame can burn." The Iron Symphony and its sister ships disappeared into the impossible structure, beginning humanity's greatest adventure yet. And somewhere in the depths of space, other mysteries waited to be discovered by those brave enough to seek them out. The universe, it seemed, was just getting started. The emergency session of the Galactic Council lasted for 18 hours. Representatives from 12 species argued, debated, and calculated while Admiral Hana and her diplomatic team waited patiently in their guest quarters. The humans showed no signs of impatience or concern, which somehow made the aliens even more nervous. In the main conference room, Military Advisor Crexton presented his analysis to the assembled delegates. "After reviewing all available data, I must conclude that humanity represents an existential threat to galactic stability." "Explain," demanded Council Speaker Vithara Krex. Tun activated a holographic display showing comparative technology charts. "Look at their development curve. They achieved spaceflight 300 years ago. In that time, they've developed technology that surpasses our best achievements by orders of magnitude. If this trend continues, they will be godlike beings within a few centuries. The Vorthak crystal delegates sparkled with agitation. Their single ship outguns our entire combined fleet. How many more ships do they have? Unknown, Crexton admitted. But Admiral Hanna implied they have even more advanced vessels under construction. We must assume they have significant military capability. Then we have three options, declared General Tekvar of the militant Zerani. Submit to human dominance, attempt to destroy them before they become too powerful, or find some way to limit their expansion. The first option is unacceptable, stated the proud Gorvani delegate. My people have ruled the trade routes for 2,000 years. We will not bow to newcomers. The second option is suicide, the Keltani representative pointed out from her water tank. Their demonstration showed we cannot match their weapons. Which leaves the third option, mused Elder Kethmos of the ancient Valdari species. But how do you contain a species that advanced? The debate continued through the night while the humans slept peacefully in their quarters. Security Chief Nam had swept the rooms for surveillance devices and found dozens, but he left them active. Let them watch, he told Admiral Hanna. Maybe they'll learn something. The breakthrough came at dawn when Elder Kethmos requested a private meeting with Admiral Hanna. The ancient Valdari had been spacefaring longer than any other council species, and his perspective carried special weight. They met in the station's observation deck, looking out at the stars through transparent aluminum windows. The Iron Symphony hung in space nearby like a sleeping giant. Admiral, Kethmos began in his aged voice, I have watched galactic civilization for over 3,000 years. I've seen species rise and fall, technologies advance and stagnate, wars begin and end, but I've never seen anything like humanity. We tend to have that effect, Hanna replied with a slight smile. You don't understand, the ancient alien continued. Every species in the council reached the same point eventually. We achieved stable technology, peaceful societies, and comfortable lives. Then we stopped. Stopped what? Stopped dreaming, Kethmos said sadly. We stopped reaching for impossible things. We stopped taking risks. We became satisfied with what we had instead of pushing for what we could become. Hanna nodded thoughtfully. Comfort is the enemy of progress. Exactly. But your species never became comfortable. You kept pushing, kept innovating, kept reaching for the stars even when it seemed impossible. You remind us of what we used to be before we became civilized. Is that why the Council fears us? The Council fears change, Kethmos explained. We've built a stable society where everyone knows their place. The Vorthak control energy. The Kelthani rule the water worlds. The Chimera build our structures. It's peaceful but stagnant. And humanity threatens that stability. Humanity threatens our comfortable mediocrity, the Elder corrected. You show us what we could have become if we had kept pushing boundaries instead of accepting limitations. The conversation was interrupted when Ambassador Kang appeared with an urgent message. Admiral, the Council has reached a decision. They want to meet with us immediately. In the Council chamber, the atmosphere was tense but determined. Council Speaker Vithara stood before her people with her tentacles held in formal patterns. Admiral Hanna, she announced, after lengthy deliberation, we have decided to offer humanity membership in the Galactic Council. We believe your people would make valuable contributions to our civilization. Hanna had expected this response. It was the obvious diplomatic solution that would allow both sides to save face while addressing the underlying power imbalance. We're honored by your offer, she replied carefully, but I'm not sure traditional membership is what either of our peoples needs. What do you mean? Vithara asked, clearly confused. Council Speaker, your civilization has achieved something remarkable. You've created peace and stability across the galaxy. But as Elder Kethmos pointed out to me, you've also created stagnation. Murmurs of protest arose from several delegates. But Hanna continued. Our species developed differently because we never had the luxury of stability. We were forced to keep innovating, keep pushing, keep dreaming of better things. That's why our technology advanced so quickly. You're saying our peace made us weak? Demanded the Zerani general angrily. I'm saying your peace made you content, Hanna corrected. There's nothing wrong with peace, but there's everything wrong with giving up on progress. Ambassador Kang stepped forward with a prepared proposal. What if instead of traditional membership, we suggested a new type of partnership? Humans could serve as explorers and innovators for the entire galactic community. We could push the boundaries while you maintain stability. Explain this partnership, Vithara requested. Joint exploration missions, Kang outlined. Mixed crews with humans providing advanced technology and other species providing experience and wisdom. We explore beyond known space while you govern settled territories. We take the risks while you enjoy the benefits. The proposal created immediate excitement among the younger delegates. The prospect of new discoveries and technological advancement appealed to species that had been stagnating for centuries. But the older, more conservative representatives were suspicious. "What guarantee do we have that humans won't simply take over?" asked the Gorvani delegate. "What guarantee do you have that we won't do it anyway?" Security Chief Nam replied bluntly. "Admiral Hana has been very polite, but let's be honest about the situation. Humanity is expanding into the galaxy whether you approve or not. The question is whether we do it together or separately." "You're threatening us," accused the Zerani general. "I'm stating facts," Nam corrected. "Back home we have dozens of ships like the Iron Symphony under construction. We have colony fleets preparing to establish human settlements in uninhabited systems. We have exploration vessels mapping unknown regions. This is happening. Then why offer partnership at all?" asked the Kelthani delegate. Admiral Hana answered personally. "Because despite our technological advantages, we're still just one species. The galaxy is vast and full of unknowns. We could use allies who understand galactic politics and alien cultures. More importantly, we could use friends. And what would humans gain from this partnership that you couldn't take by force?" "Legitimacy," Hana replied simply. "We don't want to be conquerors. We want to be explorers." "There's a difference." Elder Kethmos spoke up from his position among the Valdari delegation. "I support this proposal. For too long we've been content with what we have instead of reaching for what we could become. Humanity offers us a chance to dream again." The vote was close but decisive. 8 species supported the partnership, while 4 voted against. It was enough to authorize the new arrangement. "Very well," Council Speaker Vithara announced. "We will establish the Joint Exploration Initiative. Mixed crews will explore beyond our current borders using human technology, guided by galactic wisdom." Admiral Hana smiled with genuine warmth. "Council Speaker, I think this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship." As the formal ceremonies concluded, Hana looked out at the stars through the chamber's windows. Somewhere out there, long-range sensors had detected signs of another civilization, one that might make even human achievements look primitive. The galaxy's comfortable age was ending. The age of unlimited possibility was about to begin. The Galactic Council chamber had never seen such chaos. Representatives from 12 species shouted at each other in their native languages, while universal translators struggled to keep up. The demonstration by the human warship had shattered every assumption about galactic military power. "We must respond with force," declared General Thekvar of the militant Zerani species. His reptilian features showed barely controlled aggression. "This unknown species could destroy our entire civilization with ships like that." "Violence will only make things worse," argued the peaceful Kelthani delegate from her water tank. "We should seek diplomatic solutions." Council Speaker Vithara tried to maintain order with her tentacles waving in calming patterns. "Please, honored delegates, we must approach this situation carefully. Panic serves no one." At his military console, Crexton reviewed the sensor data from the human demonstration with growing alarm. "Speaker, I must report that their weapons are beyond our understanding. The antimatter torpedo that destroyed the asteroid released more energy than our entire defense fleet could generate in a year." "What about their ship's defenses?" asked the Vorthak crystal delegate, his voice ringing like chimes. "Unknown," Crexton admitted. "Their hull appears to be some kind of self-repairing metal. When they disappeared from our sensors, we couldn't detect them with any known technology. It was as if they stopped existing in our reality. The implications were terrifying. If humans could build one such ship, they could probably build more. If they chose to conquer rather than negotiate, the Galactic Council would be helpless to stop them. Perhaps we should contact our military commanders," suggested the 4-armed Gorvani delegate. "Prepare our fleets for possible conflict." "With what weapons?" Crexton asked bitterly. "Our most powerful plasma cannons would barely scratch their hull. Our fastest ships move at half their cruising speed. Our best shields failed to even detect them when they cloaked." Meanwhile, aboard the Iron Symphony, Admiral Hana prepared for the next phase of contact. She had chosen her diplomatic team carefully. Ambassador Subin Kang, who specialized in first contact protocols, and Security Chief Hyunwoo Nam, whose calm presence would reassure both her crew and the aliens. "How should we approach this, Admiral?" Ambassador Kang asked. "They seem frightened by our capabilities." "Honesty," Hana decided. "They need to understand what humanity is and why we developed so differently. Fear comes from the unknown. And if they react badly to the truth?" Security Chief Nam checked his sidearm. "Then we defend ourselves. But let's hope it doesn't come to that." Their shuttle launched from the Iron Symphony's main bay. Unlike the crude chemical rockets used by early human space programs, this craft used the same gravity manipulation technology as the main ship. It moved through space like a fish through water, completely ignoring the normal limitations of physics. The aliens had prepared their best docking bay for the human delegation. Representatives from all 12 species waited in the reception area, trying to look calm despite their obvious nervousness. When the human shuttle arrived, it passed through the station's shields as if they didn't exist. "Impossible," muttered one of the technicians. "Nothing can pass through our defensive barriers without authorization codes." The shuttle settled onto the landing platform with barely a sound. When the hatch opened, 3 humans stepped out wearing simple dark uniforms. They looked around with calm curiosity, showing no fear or aggression despite being surrounded by potentially hostile aliens. Admiral Hana stepped forward and bowed slightly in a gesture of respect. "Council Speaker Vithara, I presume? Thank you for welcoming us to your station." Vithara managed to maintain diplomatic composure despite her shock at seeing humans up close. They looked deceptively fragile, with soft skin and no visible natural weapons. Yet she knew that their ship could destroy entire fleets. "Admiral Hana, welcome to Council Station Prime. We are honored by your visit, though I admit your arrival has raised many questions." "I'm sure it has," Hana replied. "We're prepared to answer them as honestly as possible." The formal meeting took place in the Council's main chamber. Humans sat across from representatives of 12 alien species, while recording devices captured every word for historical archives. What they learned would change their understanding of galactic civilization forever. "Please tell us about your species," Vithara requested. "Where do you come from and how did you develop such advanced technology?" Admiral Hana activated a small holographic projector that showed images of Earth. The planet appeared as a blue and green marble covered in swirling white clouds. "We call our homeworld Earth," she began. "It's located in a system you know as Sol, in what we call the Orion arm of this galaxy. Compared to most worlds, Earth is quite hostile to life. The hologram showed scenes of Earth's extreme weather, massive hurricanes that could level entire continents, earthquakes that split the ground open, volcanic eruptions that blocked out the sun for years, ice ages that covered half the planet in glaciers." "Your world tried to kill you?" asked the Chimera delegate in amazement. "Regularly," Hana confirmed. "Humans evolved in an environment where only the most adaptable survived. We learned to make tools because we had no natural weapons. We learned to build shelters because our planet's weather was deadly. We learned to cooperate because individual humans are weak, but groups of humans are incredibly strong." Ambassador Kang took over the presentation, showing images of human history. Stone tools gave way to bronze, then iron, then steel. Simple shelters became villages, then cities, then massive urban centers. Small tribes became nations, then empires, then a unified planetary government. But the most important factor in human development was competition, Kang explained. "We were never alone on our planet. Other species competed with us for resources. Different human groups competed with each other for territory. This constant pressure forced rapid innovation." "You fought wars," observed the peaceful Kelthani delegate with obvious distress. "Many wars," Hana admitted. "Terrible, destructive conflicts that killed millions. But war also drove technological advancement. We developed metallurgy to make better weapons. We developed chemistry to make explosives. We developed physics to understand energy and motion. The hologram showed human space development, primitive rockets giving way to fusion engines, then antimatter drives, then gravity manipulation systems, simple metal capsules evolving into massive ships capable of traveling between stars. The truly remarkable thing," Security Chief Nam added, "is how quickly this happened. Most of human technological development occurred in just the last few centuries. We went from riding horses to traveling between stars in less than 600 years. "Impossible," declared the ancient Valdari delegate. "No species can advance that quickly without destroying themselves." "We nearly did," Hana acknowledged. We came very close to extinction several times. Nuclear war, climate change, resource depletion. But each crisis forced us to find solutions. We couldn't afford to stagnate or become comfortable. The alien delegates listened with growing amazement and horror. Their own species had developed over thousands of years, slowly and carefully avoiding the risks that humans embraced. They had achieved stability and peace by avoiding the very pressures that had made humanity so advanced. Your species has been spacefaring for only 3 centuries? Asked Vithara in disbelief. Correct, Hana confirmed. The Iron Symphony represents our latest achievement in starship design. But it's not our most advanced ship. We have vessels under construction that will make it look primitive. The silence that followed was deafening. If humans could advance so quickly, what would they be capable of in another century? Another 1,000 years? The careful balance of power that had kept the galaxy peaceful could be completely destroyed by this single species. What do you want from us? Vithara asked finally. Admiral Hana smiled. The same thing any explorer wants when they discover something new. We want to learn, to trade, to share knowledge. We want to be part of something larger than ourselves. And if we refuse, then we'll continue exploring on our own, Hana replied calmly. The galaxy is very large and we're very curious about what else might be out there. The implication was clear. Humanity would expand into the galaxy whether the Council approved or not. The only question was whether they would do it as friends or as conquerors. Admiral Hana Kim stood on the bridge of the Iron Symphony, watching the alien space station through the main viewing screen. The structure was impressive by most standards but seemed tiny compared to her ship. Behind her, the bridge crew worked quietly at their stations, monitoring the first contact situation with professional calm. Status report, Hana ordered. Captain Do-Hoon Park looked up from his command console. All systems normal, Admiral. The aliens seem surprised by our arrival. Their communication protocols are primitive but functional. What about their technology? Hana asked. Chief Science Officer Gunwoo Choi pulled up his analysis on the main display. Interesting, Admiral. They appear to be using fusion-based power systems and conventional plasma weapons. Their ships are well built, but follow very basic design principles. No antimatter reactors, no quantum computing, no gravity manipulation systems. Hana nodded thoughtfully. When humanity had first detected radio signals from this region of space, they had hoped to find an advanced galactic civilization. The reality was both better and worse than expected. Better because these aliens seemed peaceful. Worse because they might not have the technology humanity needed for further exploration. They're trying to scan our ship, reported Communications Officer Minji Lee. Should I activate our privacy screens? Let them scan, Hana decided. But only the outer hull. Block any deep penetration attempts. On the alien station, she could imagine the confusion her ship was causing. The Iron Symphony represented 3 centuries of desperate human innovation. While these aliens had developed slowly over thousands of years, humans had been forced to advance rapidly or die. The ship itself was a marvel of human engineering. Its hull was made from quantum-enhanced steel that could repair itself at the molecular level. The reactor core used controlled matter-antimatter reactions to generate power that could light up entire star systems. The weapon systems included antimatter torpedoes, particle beam arrays, and experimental gravity weapons that could crush enemy ships into dense balls of metal. But the most impressive feature was the ship's adaptive systems. The Iron Symphony could modify itself during battle, growing new armor plating, rerouting damaged systems, and even changing its internal structure to meet mission requirements. It was less like a traditional warship and more like a living organism designed for warfare. Admiral, Commander Yujin Seo called from the tactical station. I'm detecting 12 ships approaching from different directions. They appear to be forming a defensive perimeter around the station. Hana smiled slightly. Show me. The main screen displayed the incoming vessels. They were sleek and elegant, clearly representing the best each alien species could build. The largest was a crystal ship that sparkled like a jewel. Another looked like it was grown rather than built, with organic curves and flowing lines. A third ship appeared to be made of living metal that shifted and changed as she watched. Impressive craftsmanship, Hana admitted. What's their combined firepower? Commander Seo ran quick calculations. Minimal threat, Admiral. Their weapons appear to be plasma-based with some particle beam systems. Combined, they might be able to damage our outer hull plating, but it would regenerate faster than they could inflict damage. And their ships? The largest measures 800 meters, fast for their technology level, but much slower than our fighters. None of them appear to have significant armor or shield systems. Hana felt a mixture of disappointment and sympathy. These aliens had achieved something remarkable by creating a peaceful galactic civilization, but they had also become complacent. Without the pressure of constant warfare and resource scarcity that had driven human development, they had stopped pushing the boundaries of what was possible. "Admiral," Minji Lee announced, "we're receiving another transmission from the Council." The screen showed the same elegant alien leader from before. Her tentacles moved in what might have been nervous patterns. "Admiral Hana," the alien said, "I am Council Speaker Vithara. We have deployed our peacekeeping fleet as a precautionary measure. We hope you understand this is standard protocol for unknown vessels." "Of course, Council Speaker," Hana replied diplomatically. "We appreciate your cautious approach. However, I should point out that your ships are armed and targeting our vessel. We consider this a potentially hostile action." "We mean no threat," Vithara assured her quickly. "But your ship is quite large, and we must consider the safety of all species in this system." Behind Hana, Chief Engineer Ji Hoon-yoon whispered, "Admiral, their targeting systems can't even lock onto us properly. Our stealth fields are confusing their sensors." Hana nodded but kept her expression neutral. "Council Speaker, perhaps a demonstration would ease your concerns about our intentions. We'd be happy to show you some of our ship's capabilities." She could see uncertainty in the alien leader's eyes. "What kind of demonstration?" "Something harmless," Hana promised. "We noticed several large asteroids in your outer system. We could show you our mining capabilities by processing a few of them. This would demonstrate our technology while providing useful materials for your station." After a brief consultation with other council members, Vithara agreed. "Very well, Admiral. We will observe your demonstration." Hana turned to her crew. "Commander Seo, take us to the asteroid belt. Full impulse power." The Iron Symphony began to move, and immediately the alien ships fell behind. Human impulse drives were based on controlled gravity fields that could accelerate massive objects, without the structural stress that limited conventional propulsion. The 12-kilometer warship moved like a fighter craft, reaching incredible speeds within seconds. "My God," came a transmission from one of the alien ships. "How are they moving so fast? That acceleration should tear their ship apart." When they reached the asteroid belt, Hana ordered a careful demonstration. The ship's mining systems activated, using precision particle beams to slice through solid rock like butter. Gravity manipulators gathered the pieces into perfect spheres, while matter converters broke down the raw materials into pure elements. But the real shock came when they demonstrated the ship's antimatter torpedoes on a large asteroid. The weapon hit its target and simply erased it from existence, converting the entire rock mass into pure energy. The explosion lit up space for millions of kilometers. "Impossible," came frantic transmissions from the alien fleet. "They just destroyed a 5-kilometer asteroid with a single weapon. The energy release was off our sensors' scales." "And that was a small torpedo," Commander Seo noted quietly. "We have weapons 100 times more powerful." The final part of the demonstration involved the ship's experimental cloaking system. Chief Engineer Yoon activated the quantum phase generators, and the Iron Symphony simply vanished, not just from visual sight but from all sensors, all detection methods. For 5 minutes, the massive warship existed in a pocket dimension, where it could observe everything but nothing could detect it. When they reappeared, silence filled the communication channels. Finally, Council Speaker Vithara's shaking voice came through. "Admiral Hana, we would very much like to arrange formal diplomatic talks, at your earliest convenience." "Of course," Hana replied calmly. "We're always happy to make new friends." But as she looked at the alien fleet struggling to keep up with her ship's movement, she wondered what would happen when they learned the truth about humanity. The Iron Symphony was impressive, but it was just one ship. Back home, the Terran Federation was building an entire fleet of similar vessels, each one more advanced than the last. These aliens had spent thousands of years creating a peaceful galaxy. Humanity was about to change everything, whether they wanted to or not. The question was whether the galaxy was ready for humanity, or whether humanity would have to make it ready. The morning shift on the Galactic Council station began like any other. Council Speaker Vithara glided through the halls with her flowing tentacles moving in practiced patterns. The massive space station hummed quietly as it orbited Nexus Prime, the neutral world that had hosted peace talks for 3,000 years. In the Grand Council chamber, representatives from 12 different alien species took their usual seats. The Vorthak delegate made of living crystals sparkled as light hit his body. The Kelthani ambassador floated in her water tank, her gills moving slowly. The Chimera representative clicked her mandibles while reviewing trade reports on her datapad. "Good morning, honored delegates," Vithara announced. Her voice translated perfectly through the universal communication system. "Today we have 17 items on our agenda. First, the mining dispute between the Gorvani colonies and the Nethys gas miners." The four-armed Gorvani delegate stood up, his extra arms gesturing wildly. "The gas beings are stealing our asteroids. This cannot continue." Above them, a floating Nethys being pulsed with angry colors. "Those asteroids drift into our territory. We have every right to claim them." Vithara sighed internally. These small disputes happened every week. Each species had found their place in the galaxy long ago. The Vorthak controlled energy production with their crystal technology. The Kelthani ruled the water worlds. The insect-like Chimera built the best structures. Everyone knew their role, and peace had lasted for centuries. "Perhaps we can establish a neutral zone," Vithara suggested. "Both parties can mine, but profits will be shared equally." The debate continued for 2 hours. Representatives argued about shipping routes, trade agreements, and territory boundaries. It was boring but necessary work. This was how galactic civilization stayed peaceful and organized. Then the alarm started screaming. Red lights flashed throughout the chamber. The peaceful hum of the station changed to urgent warning tones. Every delegate looked around in confusion. The last time the proximity alarms had sounded was during a meteor shower 15 years ago. "What is happening?" demanded Crexton, the military advisor. His scarred face showed decades of battle experience from the old wars. "Are we under attack?" The main viewing screen activated, showing space around the station. At first, everything looked normal. Stars twinkled peacefully in the distance. Nexus Prime spun slowly below them. Then the sensors focused on something at the edge of the system. It was huge. The object appeared to be a ship, but it was larger than anything in the galactic database. The largest known vessels were the Vorthak crystal ships, reaching 800 meters in length. This thing measured over 12,000 meters long and 3,000 meters wide. It looked like a metal mountain floating in space. "Impossible," whispered the Chimera delegate. "No species builds ships that large. The structural stress would tear them apart." Crexton was frantically checking his instruments. It just appeared out of hyperspace. But the energy readings, they don't make sense. This thing generates more power than our entire defense fleet combined. The ship's hull was dark gray with strange geometric patterns. Weapon ports dotted its surface like the eyes of some giant space creature. Tower-like structures rose from its back, bristling with unknown technology. It hung motionless in space, but somehow gave the impression of barely contained power. "Where did it come from?" Vithara asked. "Which species built this?" "Unknown," Crexton replied. "It doesn't match any design in our files. The materials appear to be some kind of advanced metal alloy we've never seen before." Panic began to spread through the chamber. Some delegates started making calls to their homeworlds. Others demanded immediate military response. The peaceful routine of council meetings had been shattered by this massive unknown vessel. Then the communication system activated. The main screen changed to show the interior of the alien ship. The bridge looked clean and bright, with soft lighting and smooth surfaces. Strange symbols and displays covered the walls. But what shocked everyone was the crew. They were bipedal like several galactic species, but different from any known race. Their skin was smooth and came in various shades of brown and pink. Hair grew from the tops of their heads in different colors and styles. They wore dark uniforms with silver decorations. A female creature stood in the center of the bridge. Her posture was straight and confident. Her dark eyes looked directly at the camera with intelligence and determination. When she spoke, her voice was clear and strong. "This is Admiral Hana of the Terran Federation Warship Iron Symphony," she announced. "We represent humanity, and we come seeking dialogue with the Galactic Council." Silence filled the council chamber. No one had ever heard of humanity or the Terran Federation. These creatures had appeared from nowhere with technology that seemed impossible. "Did she say humanity?" whispered the Nethys delegate. "Never heard of them," replied the Gorvani representative. Vithara tried to maintain diplomatic protocol despite her shock. "Unknown vessel, this is Council Speaker Vithara of the Galactic Cooperation Council." We welcome peaceful contact, but your sudden arrival has caused concern. May we ask where you come from? The human admiral smiled slightly. We come from a system you call Sol, about 26,000 light-years from here. Our species has been spacefaring for approximately 300 years. We've recently developed the technology necessary for deep space exploration and first contact protocols. 300 years? The newest member of the Galactic Council had been spacefaring for over 2,000 years. How had these humans built such an advanced ship in such a short time? Your vessel is quite impressive, Vithara said carefully. We would be honored to arrange formal diplomatic contact. However, standard protocol requires that all visiting ships submit to peaceful inspection. The human admiral nodded. We understand your security concerns, Council Speaker. However, I should inform you that the Iron Symphony is a military vessel designed for deep space operations. While we come in peace, we are prepared to defend ourselves if necessary. The warning was delivered politely, but everyone understood the implication. This massive ship could probably destroy their entire defense fleet without difficulty. Crexton leaned toward Vithara and whispered urgently, Speaker, our sensors show weapon systems we don't even recognize. The power output from their reactors suggests they're using controlled matter-antimatter reactions. That's theoretical technology for us. Vithara felt a chill run through her tentacles. If these humans possess technology beyond galactic understanding, everything could change. The careful balance of power that had maintained peace for millennia might be about to collapse. We appreciate your peaceful intentions, Admiral Hanna, Vithara replied. Perhaps we should arrange a formal meeting to discuss your people's place in galactic civilization. The human admiral's smile grew wider, but somehow it didn't seem entirely friendly. We'd be happy to discuss our place in the galaxy, Council Speaker. I think you'll find humanity has quite a lot to offer. As the transmission ended, the council chamber erupted in frightened voices. Everything had changed in just a few minutes. The age of predictable, peaceful routine was over. The age of humanity had begun.